Picture yourself walking on the streets of the plaza, going to shops and grabbing the occasional bite to eat. You don't think twice about how safe you are, and you feel comfortable with your surroundings. Though what people don't realize is that just 2 blocks east of Troost, your surroundings become a lot different. It becomes a complete opposite of where you were just a few blocks before. We can get rid of this concept of the Troost wall if the Kansas City community comes together and gets rid of the underlying prejudice that still stands. I have experienced this divide of Kansas City myself, so I understand the differences that lie on both sides. A number of people experience it every single day, which gives me even more reason for why the community needs to get together to make the area a more pleasant place and experience. Today I would like to discuss how the problem still exists today and what we can do to fix the issue. For starters, let's talk about how the Troost wall came to be an issue starting from Kansas City's history of racial divides. It all started with Kansas City's history of racially dividing real estate. The Supreme Court Brown v. Board of Education ended segregation for schools, but didn't do much for the racial divides in Kansas City. According to UMKC's University News, that was really when Troost became an important dividing line, because what happened was they drew the school district boundaries at Troost. The effort was to preserve a white-only school in the Southwest. J.C. Nichols also made it to where black people couldn't purchase his homes, so what happened was the white side kept progressing and the black side of town stayed the same. According to Building the Troost Wall, a video series on YouTube, it's often called the Troost Wall because there's a major dividing line that divides rich, black, poor, and white. It's like this not because of one single person like J.C. Nichols or even a group of people, but it's because of the people in Kansas City. The past in Kansas City has affected what it is today because very little has changed and the people realize this. The past has set a standard for segregation in the city, and the people have withheld it, not because we want to, but because it's the norm. Now that we know the brief history of why it's called the Troost Wall, let's talk about what we can do to resolve the problem. This racial divide has been a problem in the city for far too long, and it's time to put an end to it. This can be accomplished if people work together for a common goal. I believe the issue lies on prejudice, and that should be what we focus on the most. According to Mayor Sly James, people treat Troost Avenue like it's a demarcation in a war zone. They won't go across it. This is exactly what the problem is. If we keep treating this line as if we shouldn't go across it, then we're not going to go anywhere to a good common goal and nowhere close to the right direction. Let's start treating both sides the same and stop avoiding it. According to NBC News, Karen Slaughter's neighborhood group successfully lobbied to bring a suburban-style grocery store east of Troost, where a lack of stores with fresh produce and meat made the area a virtual food desert for a decade. This is a huge step in the right direction. Bringing in more businesses like this will help the area east of Troost flourish. More and more people will start crossing over the line and more businesses when more businesses start forming. This will help put an end to this dividing line in our city. People tend to flock to new and nice things, so if new businesses pop up and make the area look nice, people will be drawn to it. Now that we have discussed different steps to take to further the advancements in abolishing the Troost Wall, let's wrap it up. Today we have discussed what the Troost Wall is and the different strategies to resolve the issue. For instance, stopping the prejudice in Kansas City, stop avoiding the line, and bringing in new businesses east of Troost. As stated before, we can get rid of the concept of the Troost Wall if the Kansas City community comes together and gets rid of the underlying prejudice that still stands. So the next time you are downtown at the plaza, remember just a few blocks east, it's entirely different, but it doesn't have to be.